He could end a fight in less than a second. But Bruce Lee's real story isn't about how fast he could fight. It's about how a 32-year-old man shocked the entire world and then suddenly disappeared at the peak of his power. Bruce Lee wasn't just a martial artist. He wasn't just an actor. He wasn't even just a celebrity. He was a cultural shockwave in an era where Hollywood barely gave Asian actors leading roles. Bruce Lee didn't just enter the industry. He broke the door open. People didn't just watch him fight. They studied him. They feared him. And some even believed he was physically different from normal humans. But behind the fame, behind the films, and behind the legend, there was a life far more intense than anyone realized. Early life, the making of a phenomenon. Bruce Lee was born in San Francisco in 1940, but raised in Hong Kong. Even as a child, he was different. He wasn't the strongest kid in the room, but he was the most focused. While others played casually, Bruce studied movement. He observed how people stood, how they reacted, how they lost balance. At just 13 years old, he began training in Wing Chun under Ip Man, a legendary martial arts master. But Bruce was never satisfied with just following rules. He started questioning everything. Why must fights be slow? Why must techniques be traditional? Why can't fighting be practical, direct, and efficient? This mindset made him controversial even as a student, but it also made him dangerous, because he wasn't just learning martial arts, he was trying to redefine it completely. The mindset that changed everything. Bruce Lee developed a philosophy that shocked traditional martial arts schools. He called it Jeet Kune Do, but it wasn't just a fighting style. It was a philosophy of life. It had one core idea: be like water. Water has no shape, no form. It adapts to everything. Bruce believed a fighter should do the same. Not rigid, not predictable, but flexible, efficient, deadly when needed. This idea alone broke centuries of martial arts tradition. Many masters rejected him. Some even criticized him publicly. But Bruce didn't stop, because he wasn't trying to impress anyone. He was trying to evolve beyond limits, the speed that people couldn't process. One of the biggest legends about Bruce Lee was his speed. People who trained with him described something strange. They said, "You don't see him move, you only see the result." In demonstrations, Bruce could close distance before reaction strike without visible wind-up and control opponents without fully hitting them. One famous test involved Bruce Lee and trained martial artists. Even experienced fighters admitted they couldn't track his timing. But it wasn't magic, it was physics, perfect timing, perfect distance, and absolute control of his body. Bruce didn't rely on strength. He relied on precision so refined, it looked unreal. Hollywood, the world, finally noticed him. Bruce Lee entered Hollywood at a time when representation was extremely limited. Studios didn't believe Asian actors could lead action films. But Bruce had other plans. His breakout came through. The Green Hornet entered the Dragon Fist of Fury, and everything changed. For the first time, Western audiences saw action that felt real. No exaggerated choreography, no slow-motion tricks, just raw, explosive movement. Audiences were stunned, critics were confused, and Hollywood realized something shocking. They had never seen anyone like Bruce Lee before. He wasn't acting like a fighter, he was a fighter on screen. The life behind the camera. But fame came with pressure. Bruce Lee was constantly pushing his body to extremes. He trained for hours every single day, not for appearance, but for perfection. Friends described him as obsessive, not in a negative way, but in a focused, almost scientific way. He would test movements repeatedly, break them down, rebuild them, and repeat until perfection. But this intensity came at a cost. He suffered exhaustion, dehydration episodes, and severe stress from balancing Hollywood expectations and his personal philosophy. Yet he never slowed down, because in his mind, the body had no limits, only beliefs did. The fighter who changed martial arts forever. Before Bruce Lee, martial arts in movies looked slow, controlled, and almost theatrical. Fighters followed strict styles and traditional rules that had existed for generations, but Bruce Lee believed real combat was completely different. He thought fighting should be fast, direct, and efficient, not limited by old traditions. This mindset shocked many martial arts masters at the time because Bruce openly questioned systems people had respected for centuries. Instead of copying one style, he studied multiple forms of combat and combined only what actually worked in real situations. That approach eventually became Jeet Kune Do, a philosophy built around adaptability and speed. Bruce wasn't trying to become another martial artist. He was trying to evolve martial arts itself, and in the process, he changed the way fighters, athletes, and even Hollywood action stars trained forever. Theories, questions, and mystery. Many theories have emerged. Some say it was extreme physical strain, heat-related complications, or an unexpected medical reaction. Others suggest deeper mysteries, unknown sensitivities, hidden health conditions, or exhaustion from extreme lifestyle pressure. But none of these explanations fully satisfy fans, because Bruce Lee wasn't just a normal man, he was a symbol of perfection in motion, and that makes his sudden death even harder to understand. Legacy that never fades, 1300 to 1430. Even after his death, Bruce Lee became even more powerful in influence. His philosophy spread worldwide. His movies became legendary. His training methods became global standards. He inspired fighters, actors, athletes, and entire martial arts schools. Today, his name still represents discipline, speed, precision, and limitless human potential. Because Bruce Lee didn't just fight opponents, he fought limitations itself. Bruce Lee's life is more than a story. It's a question that still remains unanswered. How far can a human push themselves before reaching the edge of possibility?